Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Emmy Award-winning WCCO morning news anchor, AJ Hilton.
Hey, really quick in the back, could you say that again? Because the applause it's not where we need it to be. So could you, one more time, everyone's in here, so one more time, try it again. Yeah, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Emmy Award-winning WCCO-TV morning news anchor, AJ Hilton.
That was much better. Because for a second, I was thinking that I was the person that got up at 2 a.m., and you all got up at what time? And I've got more energy than all of you? That should not happen. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. It is an honor. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you on a Friday night. I know, given the weather, we live in Minnesota for a reason. We love the summer times. We love April too, but there's no place I would rather be than on a Friday night with all of you for this great cause. So give yourselves a round of applause. You're all here for a great cause. Really quickly, I've had a chance to speak with a couple of you tonight. I just want to share my quick journey as far as how I got here. And I've used the words a couple of times already. There are three words that I use to describe the fact that I'm back here in Minnesota. I don't know how I got here, but somehow, some way. But the words that I continue to use are surreal and full circle. And the reason I say that is because with the United Gospel Mission Twin Cities, I'm actually not from Minnesota. My family moved up to Minnesota when I was 12 or 13 years old. And my dad was working for Northwest Airlines when we moved up here. Now Delta Airlines, and I remember my dad told me when we moved up here, he told me and my brother, we're crying and crying and crying. He said, you know what, fine, me and your mom, we're gonna take you to a North Stars hockey game when we get up to Minnesota. What happened when we moved up to Minnesota? The North Stars moved the next year. 2 years after that, they won the Stanley Cup. We were heartbroken. But the one thing that my parents did do, and I feel so blessed to be able to say this, is they made sure that my brother and I, we helped other people, that we volunteered. And one of the things that we did, and we did this for a couple of years, on Thanksgiving and on some of the holidays, we would volunteer with the United Gospel Mission Twin Cities, and we would go down on Thanksgiving and we would serve meals. That was what we did. That was our way. So my parents really tried to instill the value that we were blessed and that no matter what, you can always help other people. And the fact that you're here tonight, again, it showcases that. But again, like for me, it's full circle because I think back to that kid, right? And now I think where I am now. So it's a true full circle and it's a surreal moment. So for me, to get this offer when they said, would you like to MC this event? I said, wait, what? United, really? Absolutely, because it meant so much to me and those values were instilled in me. So it just means so much to be here tonight for this worthy cause. So we hope that you enjoy the program tonight. We've got a lot to get to. We do have to take care of some house cleaning. This is some big house cleaning that we need to take care of, though. We need to thank our sponsors. We need to thank our legacy sponsors. You can see them up on the screens here. So please hold your applause until the very end. I'm going to go through them. But United Healthcare, MEI Total Elevator Solutions, Bituminous. Did I say that right? Bituminous? I've been struggling with that one all night. I got it? I got the thumbs up. Yes. It's like I'm reading a teleprompter all over again. Bituminous Roadways Incorporated, Legacy Wealth, and Luther Automotive. Those are our legacy sponsors. Our premier sponsors are Mayors in Power, St. Croix Hospice, She-High Construction, Thrivent, and First Team Exteriors. Please give them a big round of applause. We also do have to shout out our leadership sponsors. You can see them on our table here. Please give them a round of applause too. So we do have a lot to get to with our program tonight, but we want to have fun too. We want to remember the reason that we're here. We're here because we're in a spot where we can give and we can help other people. But you're going to hear from two program alumni who were desperate for hope. Now, when you think of the word desperate, I just want you to think about that for a second, because I'm guessing that your version of desperate is not the real version of what desperate really means. Desperate is not when you're trying to get to work and you're late for work because you got to get your latte with the whipped topping. That's not desperate. Desperate is when you are out on the street for 3 days, you haven't eaten in 2, you've got 2 children with you, and you don't know where your next meal is coming from. That is desperate. And these are the people that we are trying to help. We want to make sure that we can reach them and give them a foundation of trust, that they know that they can rely on the United Gospel Mission Twin Cities. So these people, they are among the thousands of people who have been transformed by the work of the United Gospel Mission Twin Cities. And you're going to hear from the CEO, Pam Stegora Axberg, who will share the measurable impact that is happening today. But before we dig into our meal and we continue with our wonderful conversations, please join me in welcoming Pastor Jeremy King from Shepherd of the Valley Church, who will open our evening with prayer.
Well, good evening. I'm honored to be here with our team, and they made the mistake of giving a preacher the mic right before dinner, so I'm just kidding. Abigail was really clear. This is a prayer before dinner, so let's pray. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, and his mercy endures forever. Father, we thank you for the work of Union Gospel Mission. We thank you for every person in this room that helps make that possible. Lord, you are the one who provides a life-changing pathway. You change lives every day. And you desire to be near the hearts of those who are homeless, who are hungry and addicted. And God, you've created this organization to meet that need. You filled them with compassion and respect. And Lord, we pray as we celebrate tonight, we thank you for the work that they do and the ways that you invite us to be involved. God, we pray for this meal. Bless it to our body, the conversation to our soul. We thank you for the hands that prepared it and serve it tonight. And we pray that your blessing would be with us all. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities provides Christ-centered, discipleship-oriented pathways for men, women, and children who've experienced homelessness, trauma, or addiction in their lives. Here at the Mission, we start with emergency shelter and a hot meal, and then we offer so much more. Every guest is invited to participate in our transitional or full-time residential programs where they can access addiction recovery programs, mental health support, education, pathways to employment, and more permanent housing. Daily chapel services, devotions, and Bible studies help guests and residents discover God's mercy and loving kindness. Every day, we welcome those who are hungry and homeless, battling addiction, or fleeing a difficult living situation. We work with mission residents to build job, life, and financial management skills. We help them navigate mental health issues or recover from addiction. Then we walk alongside each resident as they journey towards wholeness, rebuilding relationships and regaining independence. We work to take care of the immediate needs first: food, shelter, clothing, and a hot shower, so that in time we can begin to address some of the underlying issues our residents face. We know that it takes time to build trust and to heal. Because of our faithful donors, we are able to provide that much needed extra time as the men and women rebuild their self-esteem, gain new life skills, mend broken relationships, and grow in faith. Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities has been a part of the fabric of St. Paul for over a century, and we continue to be relevant as we adapt to the evolving and unique needs in our community. When we saw an increase in the need for mental health services, we opened an on-site mental health clinic available to all guests and residents who walk through our doors. When we saw a need to support homeless veterans, we began a pilot program of transitional housing for U.S. veterans. Knowing that we can't help mothers without helping their kids, we have an accredited child development center that not only helps us better serve moms, but it also helps us serve children to break the cycle of multi-generational poverty. We know we serve a diverse community, and regardless of race, ethnicity, or cultural background, we seek to meet people where they are at and help them move forward. At the mission, we see men, women, and children who arrive without hope open their hearts to Jesus and the love and healing He provides. I invite you to join us as we serve. You can be a part of impacting generations of lives affected by hunger and homelessness here in the Twin Cities.
Hello, and it's so great to be here. Welcome. I always want to be larger than life, and I guess this is one way to get there, is on a big screen where you truly are larger than life. But it is, I'm Pam Stegora Axberg, if you didn't get it from the video, and I am just really happy and privileged to serve as the CEO of Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. I love looking at all the beautiful faces out there, and I want to know where my husband is sitting. All right, so... all right, I do have to tell this. All right, I'm going to go a little off script here because I kept going, my husband's not sitting next to me. And I'm like, maybe he's sick. And then finally, halfway through the meal, he comes over, and I had texted him. I go, he must be sick. I'm ready to send my table into the bathroom. And he goes, well, I'm over at the table over here with your other friends. And I said, did you notice I wasn't with you? He said, you normally don't come home for dinner anyway. I'm used to eating without you. So I'm very grateful to this table for taking good care of Joe. And I appreciate it as well. I hear he has some stories that he's learned as well. But I said, you know, in the end, if my worry is that my husband's not eating dinner with me, that is a far better worry than some of the people that are in our care. And so it really goes to the heart is I know that he is nearby because I also did a find your phone, which is what you do for me. So it is nice to see these faces and know where my husband's sitting. And these are the faces of those who have been in our programs, donors, advocates for our cause, current and past staff, volunteers, and some of you who are new and interested in the impact that Union Gospel Mission is having in the community. You make up the Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities family. And I am glad you are here tonight on a Friday night in this place to celebrate safety, stability, hope, and life transformation. Truly, it takes a big family of people like you coming to the mission. Last year, we had over 3,300 volunteers come to serve. They brought their skills, their willingness, smiles to our campuses. They showed up for people in need. Some showed up once, some weekly, some monthly. Every person who volunteers makes a difference. If you have ever volunteered at Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities, please stand now. Thank you. We couldn't do it without you. You know, I've been told I set high goals and expectations, so I'm hopeful now I'll inspire you that next year when you return, because you'll want to, that we will have even more standing and volunteering as well. I appreciate you, we appreciate you. I'd like to invite Rick Klevin, the president of our board, along with Pastor Jeremy King, Caitlin Ronayne, and Jill Wurm from the Shepherd of the Valley Church to join me now on stage. It is the faithful partnership of so many churches throughout the Twin Cities and beyond, year after year, that have been an integral part of the work we do. To all our congregations who have stepped up to the challenge to love your neighbor, we say thank you. You are a blessing.
Yeah, I have a really good job tonight. I get to have the honor of recognizing Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities 2023 Church Partner of the Year. Along with our heartfelt thanks to each of the churches, and there's been a lot of them, that have come alongside us this year, there is one we'd like to honor this evening as our Church Partner of the Year. It's Shepherd of the Valley in Afton, Minnesota. Let's give an A.J. Hilton type cheer for them. Shepherd of the Valley invested in the work of Union Gospel Mission through prayer, donations, volunteering. We are honored to be one of their mission partners. They regularly send groups of volunteers, including youth, to serve meals at our men's campus. These groups come faithfully with love and compassion to care for people here at the mission. They also serve in our volunteer advisory committee, so we do a good job supporting our volunteers and working with them. One specific example of something that they did, last summer we did a lot of renovations in our kitchen, and it didn't always go perfectly smoothly, you know, those kind of projects. Well, they came up with the idea of having pizza night for the men. They brought the pizza, they brought the volunteers. It was a great time. So we're grateful for the many ways they've come alongside us at the mission, to, sharing in our calling to love our neighbors and those in need. So I would like to present this award to them, to Pastor Jeremy, Caitlin, and Jill, on behalf of Shepherd of the Valley Church.
Smush together for a picture. Thank you.
Okay, so before we continue the program, I just want to say, I thought we were all friends. But I guess we're not, because no one decided to tell me that I said the organization name wrong. What happened? I thought we were friends. So you guys were supposed to help me out here. Golly, Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. See, this is one of those times where you have to give me the benefit of the doubt, because I told you I've been up since 2 a.m. Golly, guys, give me a break here. No, look, one of the things that I love about an organization like the Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities, special emphasis there, is the foundation that they want to create. They don't just want, we were just talking about this, they don't just want you to, the people who are homeless, who are down, to come in and get their services. They want to transform lives. They want to give people the foundation so they can go out and they can make it on their own and they can help other people. That's what we're doing here. We're transforming lives. Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities has been serving women and children in various ways since 1920. Think about how long that they've been here and serving. And then in 1992, the Naomi Family Program opened to offer holistic, wraparound support for women in crisis who are facing homelessness, abuse, or addiction. Tonight, we are privileged to hear the story of Teresa and her children, whose lives were transformed at the Naomi Family Program. Take a look for yourselves.
I grew up on the east side of St. Paul. My mom was a single mom, and I had 2 brothers and a sister. We struggled here and there. I remember finding a relationship with God when I was a teenager, but I was still backsliding. Ended up getting baptized at 18 and going through struggles after that. The first time I experienced homelessness was due to a domestic violence relationship. I ended up having to leave my apartment very quickly with me and my children, ended up in a domestic violence shelter. I got into another program that helped me find a home. And then 10 days after we moved in, I got fired due to COVID. My financial security is gone, and now I'm afraid I'm gonna go right back to the same situation. And I'm like, I just worked so hard to get right here and get us a home. I was still going through the very toxic and unhealthy relationship with my children's father in that home. It started to get dangerous, so we ended up packing our car up and going to Florida. 10 days before I went to Florida, I found out I was pregnant. We were going to stay with my brother, so we stayed for a little bit, but then his landlord was kind of like, there's just too many kids in this small place, so we ended up in our car. We parked at a 24-hour fitness gym. Florida's hot. This was in August of 21. So I had to keep the AC running all night. We ended up getting a Section 8 voucher a few months later and getting a home down there. And then in July of 22, my sister passed from lupus. In February of 23, my best friend passed. And then my son's grandfather died. And then my grandma wasn't doing too good. So at that point, I decided, I was like, we're going to go back to Minnesota because we're away from all of our family. And life was just too short. We got to see my grandmother on Mother's Day. So we got to say goodbye to her, and 2 days later she passed. And then that same day, my uncle also passed. Dealing with this loss, it was just like back to back. Like I still haven't even processed my sister. I'm trying to find a home up here now. That didn't go too good. So we ended up back in our car. I heard about Naomi Family Program at Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. I did the intake. So we kind of just heard my story, kind of what was going on. So they called me back about an hour later, said we have a room for you and you guys can come down and see it. So we came down and saw the room. I brought my kids with me and they were so excited. We have our own bed. It was different than any other shelter I've been in. They had opportunities to set you up for success right there in the program. If you didn't have a GED, you could get your GED. If you wanted to further your education, you could do that. They offered free childcare, which was a huge help. They had devotions every morning where you got to get in God's word. And they have mental health services where you can go and get help. I was a little nervous at first. I've never really gone to therapy, but I was like, well, we'll give it a try. So I started talking to Tiffany. She was just a huge help. I had realized that I was suffering from depression for a long time. It's helped me cope with things. It's helped me kind of redirect my brain into, well, this is what's going on. It changed how I viewed myself, what I could do with my life. I want to do kind of what they do there. I want to help people who have been in my situation. If I hadn't come to Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities, we would have been in our car and went to another shelter. I wouldn't have got the love and support that I got at Naomi. I would still be struggling with what I was struggling with before. It completely changed my life in that situation. I feel like that's why God placed me there. A long time, I struggled with asking anybody for help. I don't need help. I'll figure this out. I got this, because there's nobody out there that's going to help me. And going to Naomi is the thing that changed it. I saw that they actually cared. After leaving the mission, I am happy. I have changed my outlook on life. I've changed how I viewed myself. Even though I went through difficult times, they don't define me. I have discovered who I am and how strong I am.
Teresa, I just see such hope coming out of you in that video. Come join me to say thank you. We want to celebrate the transformation. You are beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you so much. You got it? I sometimes get asked why I work here. This is why I chose to do what I'm doing now. To see that change, to see that life transformation, to see hope. But I am here as these individuals inspire me, and I see their vulnerability and their bravery. But I know that I have a lot of people that do the work alongside me and serve with me. I'd like to acknowledge a few of those individuals in the room, and I'd like to start first with my current and former board members. If you could rise. So my board members are my advisors. They are leaders. They are dedicated volunteers. They are hearts of compassion. And you've approved a new strategic vision, too. Thank you for making me a better leader and making Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities stronger. And then there are the hands and feet every day of those who do the job, and that is the staff, the leaders, the current and the former staff. I'm going to ask that you stand as well. And while they're standing, I want to mention, I feel particularly honored we have the previous two CEOs here with us tonight. We've talked about the legacy of Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities, and I think certainly having the previous two CEOs here are a tribute to the legacy, and thank you for the foundation that you helped set up. The work is done by the team of people that you saw standing. They are compassionate, and they strive for excellence and show God's love. I am grateful for your dedication, for your hard work, and I am proud to be serving alongside you. I am privileged to be in the room not only with them, but with each of you. Some of you know a lot about Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. Some of you know that we serve meals, we provide emergency shelter. Some of you actually have no idea who we are, because I bet someone dragged you along tonight and said, have I got a deal for you on a Friday night? We're glad you are here too. For many people in the community, Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities is known for how we welcome those in need of food and a safe place to sleep. That is just the start. Yes, we do provide 3 meals a day, 365 days a year, and I want credit this year for Leap Day. We provide emergency shelter for over 1,600 individuals in the past year. But it does not stop there. We do not want to see people stuck in homelessness, hunger, or addiction. It is truly the depth of our life-transforming pathways and programs that create long-term, meaningful change. When I'm connecting with donors or community people, including many of you in the room, you've asked me, how do you know you're having the right impact? How do you know you're making a difference? So tonight, I want to answer some of those questions so that you know that every dollar that you have donated to us is invested wisely in how we serve and in how we make a difference. But it's even more than that. I personally want to make sure that as I welcome and as my staff welcomes those that we are serving to the mission, in need of our help and in need of support to make a life change, that when we look them in the eye and we make a commitment to help them, and we ask them to trust us, that we actually do everything we said we would do with the type of program that has the outcomes that we are promising to them. And sometimes we know that work is hard, but that is why we need to know that we are providing the best programs and making a difference. So last July, we started to measure our programs, their impact and their outcomes. Each program resident is surveyed when they come to us and they are welcomed into program. We do ask again at mid-time through their program and then at exit. We are measuring the programs over time. This measures the impact and it allows us to have opportunities for improvements at times. My team always loves that when I'm looking for opportunities for improvements. And it allows us also to reflect on where we know we should recognize where we're making successes. And it is why I can say we are leading the way in the Twin Cities with our life-transforming programs. We are seeing success. And it's important that our reporting is just not anecdotal and inspiring. We want to be inspiring because we have the stories. But we are also measuring to know that lives are being changed in a measurable way. 5 outcomes are critical to getting a person into safe and stable housing, and then ensuring that they can stay housed. These 5 are faith, community, well-being, income, and housing. When a person makes strides in these 5 areas, they are set up for leading independent and stable lives beyond us. Success in these areas disrupts the cycle of homelessness. When women grow in these areas, their children benefit from the stability that is created, and we start to break the cycle of multi-generational poverty. When people have the skills to stay in their homes, they won't end up in the streets again. I think about these outcomes every time I walk the halls of the mission, when I look into Juan's eyes, or when I greet Roger, knowing that when we can invite them to come into a program for that change, we are offering them the best program possible, and we are honoring the commitment we ask for them when we want to walk alongside them. I'm going to put some numbers on the screen, and forgive me, some of you know I do like the data and I like the numbers and the fact. That's part of my history. But I think it'll explain to you why I'm very confident that we are doing good work. Let me start with our first outcome of faith. Faith is a foundation for us and the reason why we have done this work for over 120 years. From the beginning, Union Gospel Mission has been a pillar in our community and a commitment to providing Christ-centered programs and services. And we are a beacon in our community of the good news. It is important to note that the majority of our program residents report to us they come to the program with already some level of faith. They were looking for a place to belong where Christ is central, and we are providing that. Our programs include Bible study, guests are invited to nightly chapel, and our fabulous chaplains provide amazing Christ-centered care. Not only that, but our chaplains have begun outreach into the local encampments this year. We are going beyond our walls and into the community.
I learned about God and why Jesus came down to earth for us, for our sins, and why he died on the cross for us. It made me joyful and happy and made me know more about God.
Our second outcome is in the area of community. What would you do without your community? Imagine if you were to lose everything overnight. What relationships do you turn to for help? Do you have family, friends, neighbors, church friends, colleagues? Most of us in this room have a safety net that we can rely on in a time of need. Too often we find that those that come to us are missing that piece in their lives as they come through our doors. They might have broken relationships that have not been mended. They might have boundaries that had to be set because they had some addiction. There could be family separation or estrangement due to abuse. Moving to a new location with no one to turn to. The loss of belonging can lead to great loneliness. Our approach is that we are building community, and it's twofold. First, we teach healthy relationships in our programs and classes and communal living, building relationship skills. Residents find community and a sense of belonging when they are with us. And we know that it has to go beyond there. We have to equip them beyond that. We are a step closer in a bigger picture of the community. We work towards family reunification, belonging to a church community, connecting with others in meaningful ways to build safety nets and a sense of belonging as they move beyond our care and our walls.
I have a community of fellowship, an environment of people that I never used to have because I lived in rejection. I was always alone. And God brought me here and showed me that I'm never alone. I was never alone. And I have these people that are lifelong people. I have a fellowship that is never going to leave.
The third outcome is in the area of well-being. When our residents improve their physical and mental well-being, they are more likely to accomplish their personal, financial, and life goals, often moving to safe housing, independent living. We provide basic access to medical care, physical fitness, dental care, foot care, faith formation, mental health, all to address and to improve a sense of well-being. Mental health is a vital component to well-being. Over 60% of the homeless population is suffering a serious mental illness. Access to mental health care is a barrier for this population. We are addressing the problem with our access. We provide free on-site mental health clinic drop-in. Our wait times to see a licensed therapist are within a week, generally significantly shorter in the general population. I don't know about you, but if any of you have tried to access our mental health in our community, you can't get to see someone in under a week. We know we have to have built a trusted relationship, and we are doing that because they see our therapists on site and among them, and that invites them and creates an environment for them to come in, and to come in when they need it, and to come in on a drop-in basis. Mental health is then integrated into our programs. We even have mental health support for our kids at Naomi Family Program, addressing any trauma that they have experienced.
Before I came to the mission, I was feeling unhealthy, stressed out, angry at the world. Since I came back to the mission, I finally feel good about myself. They helped me to trust in myself. They helped me to trust God. Look in the mirror, and I see myself a beautiful person, a special person, a godly person. And to me, that's all I want. That's all I need.
The fourth area is in income. As you can imagine, this is a pivotal piece of the puzzle. Both our support services and our adult education teams support individuals as they work to improve their income. We help people gain meaningful employment. We help people in terms of their education. Our financial skills training is a unique part of our process. While developing budgeting skills and saving skills, individuals also have access to savings and checking accounts. They can restore their credit scores, an essential part of obtaining the next housing opportunity.
There's people around the clock that have experience that can help me with setting up resumes. We have also mock interviews, do follow-up calls. Like, they're also helping me get my credit score up. So when I do leave here, I can get an apartment or a house with that. So, I add all those up, plus the spirituality, and then the friends and everything. And I think I'm back in society.
And that brings us to our fifth outcome, housing. Everyone, every person deserves a place they can call home. That is why we are here, to help provide that initial shelter and transitional housing. But our programs, they get individuals into long-term housing and equip them with the skills they need to stay housed. We want to see each person who comes through our doors exit into safe and stable housing. And in the nicest way possible, I really don't want them back. I really want them to be successful and out there and not needing to return. Of course, we will always welcome anyone in need, but we want to have equipped them to no longer need us, but to come back to be volunteers, to come back to be peer mentors, to come back to just say hi to our staff and have our staff see the success that they helped someone enable in their lives.
The Union Gospel Mission really gave me the opportunity to be the best version of myself. They gave me the opportunity to find housing. They gave me the opportunity to build myself into a new career. They also gave me the opportunity to, find God, and God's been there every step of the way. And the Union Gospel Mission helped me find that. And, I just can't be more thankful and grateful for the opportunity that I had there.
We at Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities are disrupting the cycle of homelessness. Almost 11,000 people were experiencing homelessness in Minnesota on a single night in 2023. Our men's shelter is full and had been full with even our 52 overflow cots were at full capacity this past winter. And we're not completely set up for that to be the status quo. Can you imagine what it is in your own home when you're sharing a bathroom? Now think about 52 men sharing 2 bathroom stalls. But we never want to be in a position to have to tell anyone no. We don't want to turn anyone away, and we continue to challenge ourselves to be better and to do more, and we want to be able to welcome women and children as close as they need to be in terms of near real time when they come to us. Currently, half of those people experiencing homelessness in Minnesota are families. There is not enough shelter space to meet the needs of families who are struggling with housing stability in the Twin Cities. We have begun to explore the possibility of expanding our emergency shelter as well as long-term solution for temporary location of Naomi Family Program for our women and children. This is aimed at enhancing our ability to provide more comprehensive support in response to the needs we face. I know I gave a lot of statistics tonight and they were up on the board, but thank you for bearing with me. And if you want to read more and you want to see more detail, we've got it on our website. We've got it on the annual report that you can take with you from the table on the way out. Yay, all right, I like that on that annual report. Well, I was saying maybe you want to go pull down the 990 and the audited results from the website too if you want some reading. You know, we do have that all listed there. We're very transparent, and I do know there are people in this room that do like to read 990s. But the rest of the night will be much more inspirational. Tonight, celebration is about the people that we serve. It's about the lives that are transformed. And again, Teresa, for sharing your wonderful story about the impact through Naomi Family Program. And I'm anxious next to hear from Jordan. While Union Gospel Mission, we have measurable outcomes and impact that we know matter. We are more than just about the numbers. We are changing lives, one person at a time.
So I understand why they call it a celebration of hope. I get that. Faith, community, well-being, income, and housing. All of those things have to work together in order to be successful, right? You can't have one without the other. I can't be healthy, right? And I can't not have a place to live. I have to have my faith in order to be able to find my community. It all works together, and that's why you are here. You know, a lot of people will ask me, whether it's I'm doing a fundraiser or whatever, I don't know how to help. I don't know what I can do. Should I donate my time? What is it? And I tell people that a lot of times they don't realize in ways that they are blessed. A lot of you may not realize the ways that you are blessed. And you may not realize it, but you are blessed in a way that other people aren't, financially. You can give money. That can be your gift. That's it. Sometimes that's all you need, and sometimes that's all we need. But that is your gift, and we encourage you and we appreciate you again for being here on a Friday night. So, Pam, thank you so much. Well done. I want to introduce someone now. I had a chance to speak with him briefly, but Jordan actually went through the Acts training program, which is formerly called the Discipleship Program, and we are honored to have Jordan here tonight. Did you bring your family? Is everyone here? Okay, everyone's here. Please welcome Jordan to the stage.
My mic on? Yeah. If anybody had been wondering why there was a baby here, it's because he's absolutely adorable. All right. Go relax a little bit. All right. Thank you for your patience. Sorry, table 9, I think. As you can tell, I have an amazing wife, obviously an adorable son, but I also like to let you know that I bought my first house in September. Thank you. There are many other great things in my life right now, but obviously that's not what brought me to Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. When I was about 3 or 4 years old, my parents split up. They got divorced, and shortly after that, my mom moved out of the state. I grew up with a single father, which to anybody in the mental health clinic knows that's an oddity. With that came consistent trouble and chaos in the household. I remember my sisters always getting in trouble. I was kind of the black sheep or the quiet one up until I was about 8 or 9. And that's when I started getting in my trouble. Throughout the end of my grade school years and into junior high, I'm pretty sure that I held the record year after year of detention or suspension. It's not a stat that I'm proud of, but it's one that I will boast about. Sorry. With that trouble came a consistent apprehension to want to become a part of a community, want to become a part of society even. I was always fighting, whether it was authority or my classmates. That transferred over into high school. But that's when my legal trouble began. That's when I started stealing, breaking into houses, taking cars, breaking into cars, and my trouble kept compounding. I never thought to find help or any form of way out of it. In my junior year of high school, my grandma had passed away. She was the major mother figure in my life, and this hit me pretty deeply. Shortly after that, I was a daily user of drugs and alcohol. But a year after that, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. Whether they were induced by the drugs and alcohol, I just know that I had an issue, but I didn't address it. Over the next 5 years, I lived in 7 different places for a lengthy period of time. Several of those were couches here and there. I remember living with my aunt and my grandpa, and my aunt telling me that I need to take care of what's going on in my life, and her driving me to AA, leaving me there, waiting for the taillights, and then going to the bar. Throughout all these consistent seizures and disregard for my family's love and care for me, I began to burn bridges. I began to separate myself from everybody in my life that cared for me. With all the consistent seizures and disregard for the love that others had for me, I had nothing. I felt worthless. I felt helpless. I was living with my uncle as I was using my drug of choice. When he found out what I was doing in his house, he gave me an ultimatum. He says, you have to leave by Christmas. Either it's on the streets or in treatment. I don't care. Luckily, I had a friend of mine that I still call a friend who gave me a phone number to Waverly Place, which allowed me an opportunity to go to inpatient treatment down in Indiana. It was a miracle that I was even able to get in. This was 2 days before Christmas. Christmas Eve, I got the confirmation that I was going down there. Christmas Day is my sober date of 2015. I've been sober since then. Thank you. While I was at the terminal at the airport, they overbooked the flight. And I was like, all right, so $200 Amazon and a free night stay, okay. It ended up going up to $800. I was kind of at the point where, what do I do? Luckily, I downloaded The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, put on my headphones, and focused in on that. That was the first day that I was sober. That was the first time that I was able to say no to a bad decision, I would say, in 15 years. During my time in treatment down in Indiana, I began exercising and going to church for the first time in recent years, in 20 years almost. This brought me closer to Christ. This brought me a better understanding of my health and ways that I can progress. So a month after I entered there, I got a phone call saying that there was a warrant out for my arrest. I was down in Indiana. There was a warrant in Minnesota. Do I even go back? That was a question that I'd honestly considered. I'd been sober for a month and a half at this point, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I should go back or stay and run away again. Through my dad's help and wisdom, he said the best thing I can do is turn myself in that was a very difficult decision, being 3 months sober for the first time in my life, feeling strong, feeling a lot of energy, getting healthy. I entered treatment at 145 pounds. That, for my size, is deathly. But I'd finally been back to a healthy weight, healthy mindset, and it was a very difficult decision to turn myself in. But through prayer, I understood that I needed to pay up. I needed to be accountable for my actions. While I was in jail, I was offered my DOC on the second day. Luckily, we were entering lockdown, so I had a couple hours to think about it. I made the decision to say no. Throughout my time in jail, I learned a lot about myself. I began reading the Bible more consistently and understanding that through Christ, I have an opportunity to live a worthwhile life. My dad picked me up from Scott County Jail, and I asked him, I asked my uncle, I asked my aunt. Those are the three choices I had. I had nowhere to go. I was able to do a little Google search, homeless shelters, places that can help me. And when I looked that up, there's a few options, but Union Gospel Mission was like 72 font and Word. I don't know if when you were younger, you first used Word and you're like, how high can this font go? Maybe 144? That's what it was like. It was like there, right? This is where I need to go. It was a very scary decision for myself. I think my dad was more scared than I was. I'm like, I need to do something, right? If I have nothing, what can I do? And this was an option that I had. And I felt like it was the option. My dad and I had prayed before I entered into the doors. And I was really, really content with the next couple steps in my life. At that time, I had done my intake. The guy who was doing my intake saw my driver's license and he said, I haven't seen one of these for a while. So I was glad that I still had that, kept that up to date. Throughout my times in the cots and with the meals, I spent about 4 days in the cots, and it's really weird to say to a lot of you, but I know the people that have been through it will be able to understand that I had my own cot, I had my own bed. Even in jail with like the plastic lined beds, it just didn't feel real. But even an emergency cot felt comfortable, felt content. I got my own pillow for the night, at least. Next day I might have got a different one. I don't know. A couple days later, I had a pamphlet that was given to me. I think the first or second day I was there. I communicated with the staff quite a bit, got along with them pretty well. I was reading Lord of the Rings down by a tree that was right off to the side of Central Services building. And it's no longer there, but it was a beautiful shade tree, reading tree. And I was sitting underneath there. I remember it was a Tuesday, and I got done. It was about lunchtime, and I go to put the pamphlet in, and I look at it, and it says discipleship. And I was like, all right, let's open this up and see what it's about. I made the decision to go in and talk to the help desk. I met with Dave Stanley, who was the manager of the program at that time. Still is, actually. And he walked me through what the program consists of. Consists of accountability, consists of consistency, and I have to have great time management. You had to be up at 6 o'clock every single day. These were all things that I wanted for my life. I shadowed the program for 2 days and ended up having a roommate for about 2 months. It was amazing, that moment, walking into my own room, having my own key card to get into a room. It was like a hotel. I mean, it's called the Bethel Hotel, right? So I had my own key card to get into my room. Nobody else could get in there. It was something I could call my own, even though I shared it with somebody else, like stepbrother kind of. It was my own dresser, my own pillow, my own bed. It felt good. I felt secure. I felt safe, even. But I still had difficulty in my life. I still had a struggle with my mental health, with my compulsion, impulsivity, that I just couldn't quite pin down at that point. I ended up violating probation. While I was in jail for a second time in my life, I'd worried about not having that room that I was so hopeful and thankful for, or even if I had a spot in the program. But as Pam had stated, they welcome people back. I used both of my stamps and my 1.5 minutes of phone calls to see if I still had my room. I didn't get a response. I was kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie. So I spent the next 3 months worrying, am I gonna have a room? Am I gonna have a room? It was room 364, by the way. So I left, and again, I had nowhere to go, so what did I do? I go back to the mission. And I walked in, and the other students and every staff member welcomed me like I had never left. It was a great feeling walking back in there. But in that time, after my dad picked me up from jail a second time, he handed me a letter from the IRS. This was a letter with intent to levy. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that, but basically it was a house, retirement account, a cat, doesn't matter. They have it. Boat, 8, yeah. It was scary. It was very scary. I was homeless, didn't have a job, didn't have income, but now I owe the IRS tens of thousands of dollars. That was back to the poor decisions that I had made in the past. And this was when I'd been reading through Romans throughout my second stint in jail. Romans 6:21 states, "But what fruit were you getting at that time from the things of which you are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death." I'd been walking in that death. I'd been struggling in that death. I finally had a way out through Union Gospel Mission, through the staff, through the mental health clinic, through the chaplains. At that point, I made a decision to turn my life around, to actually apply myself at life. I became a leader in the program. I began mentoring men, leading Bible studies, and working with the chaplains and staff to refine the program to get it more impactful for the rest of the students. I wanted this to work for me, and I wanted to work for everyone else. It was a great opportunity to work with chaplains that knew more than I could possibly know about the Bible. I was able to get many of my faith-based questions answered, Bible translations. I really struggled with that. I'm a very analytical person. I love numbers too. And when I started to think about that, I struggled. But through some of the chaplains' help, I was able to get to a very content point. Through the money struggles that I had with that letter from the IRS, the deep concern on whether or not I was going to be able to pay it back, the budgeting classes led by many staff members allowed me to look at the things that I had. I had done requests for information to multiple financial agencies through previous 401ks and bank accounts that I had that I didn't have any information of. It turned out through that help that I was able to file for an offer in compromise, basically wiping out the rest of the debt, eliminating the fines, and clearing my name of any IRS owings and interest. It was a great feeling utilizing the resources that the mission had to offer to ask for help to see the progress in my life, actual numbers shed from my debt. I began learning organization, discipline, and consistency. There was even a class on boundaries. That, coupled with the mental health clinic, I was able to better understand how to handle relationships, how to handle conflict. Through WorkNet and the Learning Center, I was able to realize that I needed to start a career. That's what I wanted. I wanted a career. I wanted something that would provide for my life and, well, now my family. I was meeting with Sue Yonker. She was the copywriter years ago, and we were going over my newsletter that's sent out around Christmas time, because that's my sober date, so it's relevant. And she had asked me the question, what I'm going to do for my life. I didn't know. I had no idea. I told her that I have skills and abilities, and I just don't know how to use them. And she said, well, you remind me of my friend Roger. I had no idea who Roger was. What does he do? So she gave me Roger's number. I contacted him. He was an instructor for the code test for Local 455. Needless to say, I'm a fifth-year apprentice at Local 455 and absolutely killing it. Thank you. If I take a look back at every aspect of my life that they had talked about, faith, income, housing, and a couple others. Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. Don't remember them all. I can look at two main things that were the most impactful things of the past 8 years of my life. God, of course, because some of those pathways would not have been open. I didn't have that opportunity with Sue to talk to her for 2 hours because of just happenstance. God knew as I've been praying for it, God knew what he wanted me to do. I was made for the work that I do. I was built for it. There's also one other thing that was absolutely needed and necessary for me to be where I'm at now, and that is Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. Thank you.
Jordan, wow. Thank you for your courage and openness as you shared your story here tonight. And to your adorable child and your wife, thank you so much. You remind me on the really hard days that it's worth it to do the hard work. Thank you so much. Wow, what a night this has been. I'm sitting at my table crying, and I work here, so thank you so much for being with us tonight. My name is Lisa Michaelson, and I'm the Vice President of Women's and Children's Programs. I love working for Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities, where we are committed to providing men, women, and children with the tools that they need to change their lives. They find refuge. And earlier tonight, you heard the story of Teresa, who found refuge in our Naomi Family Program. You saw the transformation of her and her adorable kiddos. And Teresa, I want you to know, you had such a deep impact on our program. It was so inspiring watching you and your family just shine. And we will always have your back. Thank you so much. Teresa's story is just one of hundreds more men, women, and children, and the women and children who go through the Naomi Family Program, whose lives are changed. They're empowered, and they know their worth. Teresa, and she showed us that tonight with her children and the staff here who are cheering her on. You heard from Pam, who loves math, tell us her statistics, but really these measurable outcomes are what is making success possible. Faith, community, well-being, income, and housing. Those we serve are equipped with the skills that they need to sustain safe and stable lives. Jordan found refuge and hope at Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. His life trajectory completely changed, and you heard it here tonight. Today, he is thriving. Stories like Jordan's and Teresa's are not possible without the people in this room. 94% of our funds are provided by people like you who desire to see lives transformed. While their stories, Teresa and Jordan's, are certainly extraordinary, they are not uncommon. We consistently see lives changed, faith grow, and stability found. We are providing hope for the future. Your dollars tonight will go towards the holistic care that makes us unique in the Twin Cities. Faith formation, mental health care, addiction recovery, adult education and training, early childhood education, one of my favorites, and so much more. Together, all of us, we are disrupting cycles of homelessness, hunger, and addiction. Yes, applaud for yourselves, it's true. We're so thankful you're here tonight, and tonight we're asking you to consider what role you can play in transforming the lives of those that we welcome to Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities. Tonight, we know you can help ensure that people do not go back to sleeping in their car or on the streets or in a tent. We ask you to consider what role you can play in building brighter futures. This evening, we're so excited to announce we have a generous group of donors who have agreed to donate a match of $50,000 for any gifts received tonight. Yes, applaud for that, please. All right. Thank you. So I love the excitement in the room right now because it is our job to unlock these dollars. So there are approximately 500 people in this room tonight. That means if each individual gave $100 or $200 per household, we would be well on our way to this goal. If just 5 of you could find it in your hearts to give $5,000, we would only need $50 from everyone in this room. Pam, is my math correct? Yeah. Okay. She has high expectations. So this is attainable, folks. Any gift of any size will help us to smash our goal. Together, it takes all of us. We can do this. You will find on your table a response card with an envelope. We ask you to please complete this card. You can leave it on your table, and the staff will be around to collect the envelopes at the end of the evening. You can also donate online at ugmtc.org/COH24 or by using the QR code in front of you and on the screens. Because of this generous match for tonight's event, a gift of $100 provides over a week of emergency services for a man in need. This includes food, shelter, hot showers, toiletries, clothing, and access to our wraparound care. I see you taking your pens. Thank you. Keep going. Because a gift of $1,000 tonight would provide a month for a woman at our Naomi Family Program, which so deeply impacted Teresa and her kids and countless other women and mothers with children. And imagine, a generous gift of $10,000 tonight will be matched to make your gift fund an entire year in the ACTS training program for 2 men like Jordan, who can completely turn their lives around just like he did. You can join our community of hope by choosing to give monthly to offer continuing support for the mission. And we also invite you to join our legacy of hope for those of you who would like to include Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities in your estate plans, or by letting us know that you already have. Tonight, we ask you to give with your heart, and we hope you will give generously. We invite you to learn more about Union Gospel Mission Twin Cities online or in person. Please come and sign up to tour our facilities, donate goods or services and things that you can do to help those in need, or volunteer with us. We have a great time, as you heard from so many volunteers tonight. We want you to know that lives are being transformed because of you. Lives like Jason. Jason was living on the streets before he came to our Christ Recovery Center, a program for men struggling with late-stage addiction. Please enjoy this video while we give you time to consider this opportunity tonight. We want you to know you can help us make a difference in the lives of thousands of people in need, just like Jordan and Teresa and Jason. Our mission is changing lives, and you are a vital part of what it takes to give someone the holistic care that they need to get off the streets for good. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jason Drentel. I'm a graduate of the Union Gospel Mission Christ Recovery Center. Well, I was walking the streets of St. Paul, living under this bridge right here. Nobody to talk to, bathing my feet in the Mears Park, feeling that loneliness and no hope, and then just finally getting hope and feeling the presence of God around the Union Gospel Mission. I just love it down here. What it really helped for me is getting the time I needed, not doing the 30, 60, 90-day programs. It gave me time to really connect with God and to get my spiritual mind right, get the alcohol and the drugs out of my system, have a chance at getting my own stuff, my license back, my car, feeling good about myself. I hope and pray for all the people out there struggling. I know what it's like. Single dads that were maybe in my position. I had to give my son to go into treatment, and that was one of the hardest things to do. But I knew it was going to be a good outcome, and that's why I'm so happy that he's a senior now in college. And I got him back when he was in 7th grade, and I swore I'd never drink again. And I'm sticking by that. And I'm just so grateful today for the Union Gospel Mission and Christ Recovery Center and everything they've done for me. From me coming in here with nothing, a backpack of just a little bit of clothes, to getting me back to life, And now I'm a proud owner of a business. I would say thank you for your support. I wouldn't be alive without you. And that's the honest to God truth. If it didn't have the program for such an extensive time, it gives you the opportunity to get back on your feet, And I really thank you from from the bottom of my heart.
It's pretty powerful stuff, isn't it? Makes you reflect for a second, think about what's really important in your life. It's not often that I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words from the speakers we've heard tonight, the powerful presentations, and the stat that just blows my mind is 94% of funds provided by donors, people like you. You know, we talk about organizations and how people fall through the cracks. People fall through the cracks because we have organizations like this that don't have the funds. And this is exactly how people fall through the cracks. We can do our part. I mentioned before that we all in this room, we are blessed. We are blessed to be in a position where we can give, where we can help other people. Maybe this is your calling. It could be as simple. You always think, what is my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? Maybe this is it. You have the opportunity to give to something bigger than yourselves. And that is why we are all here tonight on a Friday in April when it is still snowing outside, because you're dedicated to this cause. And I'm serious about that. You all are dedicated to this cause. You all could have been doing something else with your Friday nights. All kinds of things you could be doing, but you chose to be here. It's incredible. And I just want to go through really quick what your donations would do, because this is really powerful. $100 a week of emergency services for a man in need. Think about that. $100. That's not a whole lot of money. $1,000 a month for a woman at Naomi. And $10,000 a year in the ACTS training program for 2 men. It goes so far, and it is transforming lives. We heard that, how it transformed lives. We've seen how it transformed lives. We've seen what it can do to create families, to reunite people. And again, that is why we are all here today. Thank you so much for being here, because again, I'm serious. You could have been doing anything else in the world, and you chose to be here. It says a lot about you, and it says a lot about your character. I also know it says a lot that some of you have bosses that you're trying to impress too. But nonetheless, that's a different story. But seriously, we appreciate you so much for being here. Be part of the match. You can be part of the solution. You can be one of the things that makes Minnesota so great. You can be one of the things and one of the reasons that I moved back to Minnesota, because I know how great this state is. I've been in other states. Other states don't have organizations like this that want to make sure that people are whole and people feel whole and people feel represented. And the power of faith does that. And that, again, is why you were all here. So as you leave, I'll leave you with this. We are all part of something bigger, right? We all strive to be part of something bigger. This is it. This room, this is it. You all have the difference to create change and be the change that you want to see right here in our own backyard. So as you leave, we're going to invite the table host to take the centerpiece flowers, the beautiful flowers displays. Please take those with you. Pick up a bouquet sleeve at the registration on your way out. And one thing that I've got to do, hold on, here we go. I like to document things. So I work on the news. So what I'm going to do is, you guys didn't realize this. You guys are going to be on the news Monday morning. So everyone say cheese on 3. 1, 2, 3. Guys, like, I don't understand. I thought, we're in the trust tree. We're friends. We're going to make a big donation tonight. I want to hear a real big cheese. Like, just do it for me, please. 1. We'll be here all night. I will host you up all night. I got no place to be tomorrow. I don't work Saturdays. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I saw that too. I'm putting you on specifically. He covered his face over here. That's okay. That's fine. No, don't. Yeah, look both ways. I see you. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. We appreciate you. Make a donation. Be the change that we all want to see. Drive and get home safely.